Hey guys, welcome back to the weekly discussion video. We got a lot going on with the shop and the channel in general. And the repair on that Avalon, if you watched last week's video, we were looking at a radiator, found out that that car actually had a blown head gasket. So super unfortunate, but that is sort of in a sense what fueled today's video. So we are going to talk about snake oils today and a mechanic's take on it. So let's get into the video.
I cannot really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you.
Alright guys, so welcome back to another video. Like I said, we got a lot going on the channel itself. We're working on the Audi headlight still. I'll grab one really quick. You can kind of see where we're at with these, working on the housings. But like I said, the repair that we had out in the shop actually kind of gave me the idea for this video, and that is going to be snake oils. And I want to preface this video by saying there is no such thing as a mechanic in a can. Doesn't exist. Alright, so a lot of people in the automotive industry in general get a really bad taste in their mouth for, well, mechanics. And we discussed that last week. Everybody has a car. Everybody knows someone who has had a bad experience. It is not the greatest industry to get into if you don't have thick skin, because you're going to have a lot of skepticism surrounding your business. Everyone thinks you're out to make a buck and rip them off. Like I said, we talked about that last week. I'll put that video up here on a card. So I was working on this Avalon, right? It's a beautiful car, 2013, and it has 80,000 miles on it, 3.5 liter V6, 2GR FE engine. Those engines are really good. I spent 7 years as a Toyota technician, and I saw two head gaskets blow on those engines. One of them I worked on myself way back when. We did a video on that. The customer had a Sienna with the 2GR FE. They hit a deer, drove it home, and so obviously it overheated and that blew the head gasket. It's not really a fault of the car. The other one that I saw had over 300,000 miles on it. So this isn't a common issue on these things at all. Customer brings me the car for a second opinion. I pressure test it, look at a few things. The radiator is crusted up and leaking coolant. And I'm like, yeah, you need a radiator, right? So I order the part, get a Toyota OEM part. And when it comes back in, I start taking stuff apart. And I notice the head gasket actually is leaking. So, like I said, there is no mechanic in a can. Sometimes, and certain brands do actually make good additive products. I won't recommend an additive or a mechanic in a can, a snake oil product, unless I've used it myself or seen somebody else use it and seen that it actually works. Great example of this is going to be AT205 Reseal. There's a whole bunch of videos on the internet. If you guys want me to show you a real life test of that product and prove and show you how it works, I can certainly do that. Drop me a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel while you're at it. That really helps me out a lot. But anyway, AT205, basically what that product does is it has the chemical components of rubber and it rejuvenates seals. Typically, when you have an oil leak, it's because a seal gets hard and brittle. Over time, through many heating and cooling cycles, that rubber gets hard, it turns into like a plastic, it cracks, it'll shrink, it'll flatten. What AT205 does, you add it to your oil change and it's going to rejuvenate that seal, and it actually does work. My 2000 F-150 that you saw in the thumbnail there, you've seen it on the channel, it has almost 300,000 miles on it. When I bought it, the rear main seal leaked so bad that I would have a puddle about that big on the ground after work. So in 8, 9, 10 hours, I'd come out and I'd have a puddle this big on the ground. So I decided to research and try the AT205. The truck's worth maybe a couple $1,000s and it's a work truck. I really don't care. Oil's fairly cheap, so I was just adding oil to it. I was avoiding putting a rear main seal in it. I didn't want to pull the transmission out to do it. I was being lazy. Mechanics, we don't like working on our own stuff unless it's our fun stuff. So anyway, I end up researching this product. I put it in the truck, add it to an oil change, and I went from a puddle about this big to like a dime-sized drip on the ground. So I had a very excessive oil leak, but this stuff really did work, and it really did slow down the leak. Another good company to look at is Lucas. Lucas makes things like stop slip and all this. Anyway, all this stuff. All of these kind of products, if you can find a good brand like Lucas, like AT205's products, they're not going to harm anything. Those companies know what they're doing, right? And a lot of it depends on the application. So anyway, this customer's Avalon, the head gasket's leaking, and I told him, you got 3 options here. The most cost-effective, proper repair is going to be to put a used motor in this thing. Now, 2GR ain't cheap. You can get one. It's about $2,500, and it varies on mileage. And again, his is very low mileage, 80,000 miles. But the radiator leaking must have caused it to overheat. This customer hasn't had it very long and unfortunately blew the head gasket out of the thing. Now, we looked into this issue. The oil is fine. There's no coolant leaking into the cylinders. It's all an external leak. Vehicle runs and drives just fine. You keep coolant in it. It doesn't overheat. But that's his first option, a used motor. His second option, which is going to be more expensive because there's more labor involved, we got machine work, ordering parts, all that good stuff, is to disassemble and rebuild that engine, put new head gaskets in it, and then all the other seals, reseal the timing cover, all of that stuff's going to add labor to the job. Now, I told him his third option is to try a product that I've seen work multiple times. It's been around for a long time. It's called Steel Seal. Now, this is a product that you put in the coolant, you follow a couple simple steps, and it actually is going to seal the leak on a head gasket. Like I said, you have to find the proper brands and do your research. A lot of companies sell coolant stop leaks, and there's like sand and material like that in there. That stuff's no good because it's going to plug up all the small orifices, especially on modern cars. Kind of like the little tablets you can buy, radiator stop leak. In an old Chevy pickup with a 350, yeah, it's probably not going to clog anything up. In a modern car, I would never put those pellets in it, you know, to stop a heater core leak or anything like that. You're going to end up with more issues down the road. So anyway, back to this Steel Seal. So that's what I told the customer. I said thousands of dollars for option 1, which is put a used motor in it. Thousands of dollars for option 2, which is to rebuild and work with and replace the head gaskets in the motor we have. Option 3 is going to cost you a couple $100, and we're already putting the radiator in it anyway. So there's not really any extra labor. The product was $120, and we're going to add this to this motor that's already screwed up. So worst case scenario, we're out $120, and now we get to choose between those first two options. Is it the proper fix? No. But do I have anything against it? No, I don't have anything against trying it because this motor is already screwed up. So at this point, either we can try to save some money. If it doesn't work, big deal, we're back to square one. Or we can do either of those first two options, the used motor or fix the head gasket, seal up a few other leaks, among other things. Those first two options are super labor intensive. Now, like I said, the motor is already screwed up on this thing. But I think what you have to deal with is when you're dealing with snake oil products, like I said, you got to know what brands you're dealing with, do your research, but you have to assess what the particular scenario is with this vehicle. If this was just a radiator leak, would I recommend using a stop leak product on this? Absolutely not, because the radiator isn't that labor intensive to replace and it's not that expensive a part. Fix it the right way. I'm not saying go out and be a hack. There is no mechanic in a can. There is no substitute for actually fixing something the right way. In this scenario, it's going to cost thousands of dollars to do it the right way. So can we try to save a little money and use this product that I've seen works? Absolutely. Why not? Because it's already damaged. This isn't going to cause any more damage. It's not like it's going to make it leak more. And like I said, I've researched this product. I know it's not going to clog anything up. It works really well. Company's been around for a really long time. So in certain situations, you can try some of this stuff. I love the AT205 reseal. There's lots of other uses for it as well. Maybe we will make a video on that. The Steel Seal works really, really well. Company's been around forever. I would not be opposed to trying this if your engine is already screwed up. If you have a small coolant leak, let's say you have a water pump leak, something like that, I would never use one of these products because that repair is small enough that it's not justified to try one of these things and to try your luck, because it's just replace the water pump, fix it the right way. But on something like this where the engine already has damage and we're only going to be out like $120 if it doesn't work, why not? Give it a try. The biggest thing about all these mechanic in a can products, you guys, is you really have to do your research. There are so many companies out there that have done a really poor job and have all of these ridiculous claims, but there are good companies out there. Lucas makes really awesome products. AT205 is a super awesome product. And think of all the other uses that there actually are for the fluids that are already in your car. Automatic transmission fluid has a lot of other uses than just being in your automatic transmission. People put it in their oil changes just a little bit to kind of clean things out in between changes. I've used it to put it down spark plug holes and try to free up piston rings, maybe prevent or resolve a little bit of an oil burning issue. Sometimes you got to think outside of the box, all right? And as a mechanic, there's a proper way to do things. There is by the book, and there are ways to do things that maybe are a little unorthodox. Maybe it's a trick, but not all of these products that are out there deserve the bad rap that they have. I would say most of them do, and that is why you have to be very cautious and assess your situation when dealing with these kind of products. But they are not all bad products. And honestly, you guys, as long as you relay your information honestly to your customer and give them all the options out there. I told this customer of mine, super awesome guy, super nice guy, I told him, you know, the right way to fix it would be one of those first two options, a used motor or rebuild what we got. Or if you want to try this, We can try this product. I know it works. And I think almost most importantly, it's something that I would try if I was in his situation, because I really wouldn't want to dump thousands and thousands of dollars into my vehicle if I didn't have to. And I know if it doesn't work, we're going to be right back at square one anyway. So I would gamble on that. All right, you guys, so I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the weekly discussion video. These come to you every single Friday. We upload new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday. Thanks for watching, you guys. Drop me a comment down below. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Really helps me grow. I'd really appreciate that. If you saw that right there, we have merchandise in the works. We're going to have Shift Wrench Repeat hoodies, just like you see me wearing. We're going to have t-shirts. We're going to have maybe some baseball caps, jet tags, stuff like that. So I'm super excited for that. Make sure you keep your eyes out for that on the videos. That'll probably be down in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.